Welcome to another video with the Sony Xperia Z3 smartphone, which is quite a beautiful device, and it's running in German right now, but I want to change it up right now so we can start with our tips and tricks guide and you guys can understand everything what I'm doing here on this screen. So it's quite a beautiful device, big screen. What can you do with the software? We already did a review, but we had, of course, didn't have enough time to show you guys everything in detail, like for example how to clear up your notification bar and how to do other cool stuff, like for example how can you use your glove and how to disable the startup sound when the smartphone has to restart, or how to record a video of your start of your home screen or your screen generally. You can see it's quite easy. Just press the button and then hit record screen instead of taking a screenshot, which is of course still possible by pressing the volume down button and on and off switch at the same time, which I didn't manage right now. It's a lot easier to just press the button. So you can see it's a quite beautiful device to just change up the background, or maybe say you want this as a home screen, you only have to hit the home button up there, and you can of course also just delete the screen which you don't want, like for example this one is empty anyways, or just add one with the plus. Now this is nothing new, but what you can actually do is go away to themes and download themes from the store which other people made with extra different icons, backgrounds. Like for example, I love the Lego Movie, so you can just go here to the Play Store and pay maybe €1 or €2, or maybe it's even for free, as you can see, because it's advertising for the Lego Movie, and you can see here how it would look like on your tablet or your smartphone, with of course a little bit of branding, but it looks quite cool. Even the Android buttons are different with this Lego theme. So that's quite an interesting feature. Maybe you haven't known that, but again, what's even more interesting is up there the status bar maybe, or here all this stuff that's going on there. So if I don't want to see that many notifications, all you have to do is go to the settings, go to personalization, and go to the manage notifications and manage status bar icons. So for example, my battery is way too big. Let's get rid of that. I don't want to know how much battery I have, or maybe I only want to know the battery percentage, or just here this little bar. Otherwise, you can disable Bluetooth, the time, silent mode, and everything else. The time is maybe handy for me. Let me just stick with the things I had before, and these are all the things that you can actually disable, enable. You can't disable, for example, NFC, or for example that I don't have a SIM card inside right now, which is a little bit sad, but it's a start. Now otherwise, notifications, you were able to see there's quite a few, but I actually have enabled here clear viewed notifications, which means I already checked them before, so it won't show me them here anymore, but they will be still here if I want them. If I would disable this, the next notification we would have would appear there and would stay there even if I slide up and down. But if you don't want to get any notification of an app, like for example, I don't want anything from themes, from YouTube, for example, and so on, as you would see, it disappears here. YouTube just went away, even though I uploaded 2 videos, and the next time I would do that, it would get back because I said again I would want notifications. Now these were the most recent ones. You can just go to all. You will get a list of all your apps that you have installed, and even services by Sony that you maybe don't want the notification from. Now that's again quite handy if you ask me. Now if you go back here, there's even the possibility to use motion to answer your calls, or to just flip around the phone and put it on silent, because there's no silent rocker here, like for example in the iPhone. That's quite easy. Just enable this one, and then you can pick up your calls by just holding the phone to your ear. You don't have to press anything anymore. Quite handy. Now that's again still in personalization. We already showed you themes and all these 3 functions. So let's go out here and show you guys what else we can do. For example, under home, if you think your home screen is way too cluttered, there's too many things going on here, animations and stuff, and maybe you want to give a phone like this to your grandparents because it's quite big and you want them to give a really nice experience, just enable the simple home and then they will get something like this. Easy to manage icons. You can go here to My Select and edit, and maybe add here a few more apps, like for example games, if it would be for kids, for example. Or you can just really use all of the apps that are here, or of course all the pre-installed apps or installed by you apps that you can see here in a long list when you just hit apps. And you have also here the possibility to use 3 speed dial icons, or if you go to phone, you can still just type the number you would want. To get out of here, just go to settings and exit simple home. That's how easy it is. But let's stick with the phone feature. There's quite a few options that are quite nice. But before we do that, let's disable the large text again, because that's actually getting annoying after a while for me, because I still can read quite nicely also without large text, and after the simple home everything stays large. So if you go back here to the phone feature, if you hit this combination, and after that the phone you want to call, the other person won't see what number you're calling from. So it's blocking your number to the other person. So that's quite nice to call your girlfriend anonymously, for example, if she doesn't want to talk to you anymore. Or of course you can use it for something else, prank calls. But yeah, this is what you have to type, and then you can just type any number you want, and then you can call anybody right here, which is quite nice. Now there's also another nice feature is going to the service menu. You only have to press this, then you have to type in service, which is the combination 7378423. I just wrote service, and then you have to type this combination, and then you're right inside the service menu, where you can check out here, for example, the service tests, customization settings, service settings, and service info. But I think the tests are the most interesting, where you can see, for example, if the keyboard and switch is working. So you can see I hit back, and you can also just wait 8 seconds and it goes back anyway, or just hit here the 3 buttons and so on. So this was the service test, which is actually a little bit more beautiful when you just go into the settings, go all the way down, about phone, and hit the diagnostics, and up on top here, test device. And then you have also the possibility to test here all kinds of things, but not as many as in the service test feature. Now let's just go back here all the way up where we were with home, because there's a lot more settings going on. Like for example, with call settings, you can, for example, use an answering machine to enable after 10 seconds, 15 seconds, or how many seconds, however you want to let the phone ring, an answering machine that you can set up yourself, a greeting or a message that should be sent if you are not available. Also in sound, quite awesome feature is, I think, that you can actually disable the startup sound. So if you restart your phone, there won't be a sound happening. I like that feature. If you go to display, you can still set up your white balance. That's not that new from Sony, but a lot of people don't like the white balance, how it is preset actually by Sony. So you can just set it up here the way you want yourself. And also very important, glove mode, quite nice in the winter. You can use a glove and you can still use a smartphone with the glove. And also here the X Reality is also quite nice. Now with the glove mode, one thing you should check out is if it's raining, the screen will be also a lot more sensitive to rain, and that's maybe not that handy, so you should turn that off when it's raining. Also smart backlight control, also a must have, because if you have your display set to 15 seconds of activity, and if you don't touch it for 15 seconds, if you have the smart backlight control still on and you're reading a text without touching the screen, this display won't turn off, because it knows that you are holding the phone right now and reading a text, and that's really quite handy. So you definitely should turn that on. And what you also should definitely turn on is tap to wake up, which means if you double tap the phone, it wakes up. You don't have to press the button on the side, which I find really handy, and also you can disable the notification light right here on the bottom. Also power management, important thing. Stamina mode is not that new. You can of course set up or what apps should have access to stamina mode. And what I actually find even more handy is you can set up 10, 15, 20% of battery life when it gets to that point, and what should be disabled. For example, you don't want Bluetooth then anymore, GPS is unnecessary then anymore, and so on. These are the things that you can disable then, and you can set up your own percentage when that should happen. Also location-based Wi-Fi, really handy. It triangulates the antennas of your 3G or just regular mobile antennas, and when it knows you are at home or in the or near to antennas there where you have Wi-Fi or a Wi-Fi password already, where you can get into Wi-Fi, turns on actually your wireless LAN and logs in, so you have less big battery consumption of Wi-Fi than over 3G. Otherwise, if we go here continuously down to security, swipe to unlock, that's nothing new, but what you should definitely activate is My Xperia. If you lose your phone, just go to myxperia.sonymobile.com and you will find your phone when you have this activated and synchronized once. Now that's quite handy, really, if you will you want to lock your phone once it's gone or you lost it. Otherwise, just go through here if you want even more information about that. I really love on Sony the Xperia keyboard because you can set up different languages to write. I use, for example, German, English, and Hungarian because I'm a Hungarian, and you can also use gesture input to type even faster. So if, for example, I go here into Chrome and want to type something, I don't have to type like that, which is, I think, a hassle for me and kind of boring, but you can also just do this with gesture typing, and then you can type even faster. I love that feature and it's really awesome. So let's go back here to the settings and let's go back here where we can just continuously go down and look at what other features we have. Like for example, in accessibility, we already disabled the large text before, but it's also the magnification gesture here and the power button ends call feature. So if you are in a call and you want to end it really quickly, just hit the power button. That's also a nice feature for me. And magnification gestures are on right now, which means that you can just triple press the screen and then you have the possibility to move to move up here and look everything at quite closely or a little bit further away, but you can see how nice you can just get close to stuff which you maybe can't read without, and you can still interact with them, move them around and do whatever you want with just one finger. And if you triple tap it again, it will go back to the way it was before. Now if you want to just look close, just triple tap and hold the screen with your finger on the third tap, and then you can just move around with one finger, but once you let go, it will get big again. Now, even more features that I want to show you is, of course, for example, that we have here the possibility to record videos with pressing the power button for a long time, which actually I think I showed you before, taking a screenshot also. But one very important feature I think is the small apps. Now, small apps means that you can just use any app or any widget actually to have here in the foreground while you do other stuff, like for example the calculator. This is nothing new. You can see it's right there always, even though I'm in a browser. You can of course close all the apps all the time. What's handy is really that you can choose any widget or even download some apps here. So if I select widget, I can say, for example, I want to see my calendar all the time. I select that one, it should be called calendar, and then it's right there a second time because I just added it. And then you can also set, okay, it should be this big so I can see even more when I'm, for example, in my Gmail or in my Play Store, because I want to know what's happening next. It should be open all the time, or I can just close it anytime. So that's small apps, and that's almost it from my tips and tricks video. I of course had the best for the last. Touch block is a, I think, new feature, which means that you can just disable the touchscreen. For example, when it's raining or it's wet and the rain will be distracting the screen, nothing will happen. And actually, the best feature about this is if you want to shoot a picture, the buttons still work for the camera. For focusing, for example, you can see if I press it, it focuses, but the touchscreen doesn't work, so I cannot hit the picture button here or the video button, which means that I have to press the power picture button. But this is quite awesome because when you want to shoot underwater videos or pictures, this is the best way to do it because nothing will get messy, the water won't stop the video by accident and anything like that. I think this is really handy. You can disable it all the time and close it here, or actually you can also enable it right here in the camera when you hit the settings button up here and go all the way down under the settings to touch block. Yes, and this was already it from my Sony Xperia Z3 tips and tricks guide. Thank you much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope you liked it, and yeah, stay with us tuned for more of these kind of videos in the future.